banquet hall will come to order. We are now holding the 2020 virtual banquet of the Grand Canyon FFA chapter. Madam Vice President, are all officers at their stations?
I shall call the roll of officers, determine if they are at their stations, and report back to you, Madam President. The junior officers.
Stationed throughout the community.
Your duties there.
Your junior officers help the senior officers in our chapter.
We inform the community of upcoming events. We are also head of committees. I am head committee of growing leaders.
I am head of building communities.
I am the head of strengthening agriculture.
The student advisor.
Stationed by the key.
Your duties there.
The key is a symbol of our future and success. We may face many challenges in our daily lives. We must discover the key and use it, for the key will unlock our potential for success.
The historian.
Stationed at the chapter scrapbook.
Your duties there.
I keep a record of past and present activities of the chapter and its members. I organize the chapter scrapbook and serve as a reference on chapter history. A good record of chapter accomplishments can be a credit to the chapter.
The sentinel. Your duties there.
Through this door pass many friends of the FFA. It is my duty to see that the door is open to our friends at all times and that they are welcome. I care for the meeting room and paraphernalia. I strive to keep the room comfortable and assist the president in maintaining order.
The reporter.
The reporter is stationed by the flag.
Why by the flag?
As the flag covers the United States of America, so I strive to inform the people that every man, woman, and child may know that FFA is a national organization that reaches from the state of Alaska to the Virgin Islands and from the state of Maine to Hawaii.
The treasurer. Your duties there.
I keep a record of receipts and disbursements, just as Washington kept his farm accounts carefully and accurately. I encourage thrift among the members and strive to build up our financial standings through savings and investments. George Washington was very able to serve his country because he was financially independent.
The secretary.
Stationed by the ear of corn.
Your duties there.
I keep an accurate record of all meetings and correspond with other secretaries wherever corn is grown and FFA members meet.
The advisor.
Here, by the owl.
Why stationed by the owl?
The owl is a time-honored emblem of knowledge and wisdom. Being older than the rest of you, I'm asked to advise you from time to time as the need arises. I hope that my advice will always be based upon true knowledge and ripened with wisdom. Madam Vice President, why do you keep the plow at your station?
The plow is a symbol of labor and tillage of the soil. Without labor, neither knowledge nor wisdom can accomplish much. My duties require me at all times in directing the work of our organization. I preside over meetings in the absence of our president, whose place is beneath the rising sun.
Why is the president so stationed?
The rising sun is a token of a new era in agriculture. If we will follow the leadership of our president, we shall be led out of the darkness of selfishness and into the glorious sunlight of brotherhood and cooperation. Madam President, all officers are at their stations.
Welcome everyone to our FFA chapter virtual awards and recognition program. My name is Mackenzie Swigert and I am the Grand Canyon FFA chapter president. I would like to start off by saying thank you to everyone who has supported us this year. We are honored to have such great members, family, alumni, and community members. Throughout the week, we are going to be recognizing some of our most valuable people, our members, our supporters, and our officers. We are going to start the event off with the FFA Creed. The FFA Creed was written by E.M. Tiffany and states many of our values that we all share. Freshman Lindsay Klein will be reciting the Creed.
The FFA Creed by E.M. Tiffany. I believe in the future of agriculture, with a faith born not of words, but of deeds. Achievements won by the present and past generations of agriculturalists. And the promise of better days through better ways. even as the better things we now enjoy have come to us from the struggles of former years. I believe that to live and work on a good farm, or to engage in other agricultural pursuits, is pleasant as well as challenging. For I know the joys and discomforts of agricultural life, and hold an inborn fondness for those associations which, even in hours of discouragement, I cannot deny. I believe in leadership from ourselves and respect from others. I believe in my own ability to work efficiently and think clearly with such knowledge and skill as I can secure, in the ability of progressive agriculturalists to serve our own and the public interest in producing and marketing the product of our toil. I believe in less dependence on begging and more power in bargaining, and the life abundant and enough honest wealth to help make it so for others as well as myself, and less need for charity and more of it when needed, and being happy myself and playing square with those whose happiness depends upon me. I believe that American agriculture can and will hold true to the best traditions of our national life, and that I can exert an influence in my home and community which will stand solid for my part in that inspiring task.
We would also like to share a special message from our state FFA president, Timber Tebus. Timber has interacted with our chapter throughout the year, coming to our chapter visit, game night, and our Zoom chapter meeting, along with visiting our conferences. We are so happy that she could address us at our virtual awards ceremony.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Pennsylvania FFA Association. It is such an honor to be joining you in celebration of the Grand Canyon FFA chapter. To the members, please continue to make your mark because you have made a tremendous mark on the Pennsylvania FFA. I would like to tell you a short story, but please know throughout the story, I'm going to leave you with 2 quotes. These 2 quotes come from life lessons that I have learned throughout my life. My story begins when I was 5 years old. I started riding horses. A little bit later on, my mom gave me the ultimatum between horse riding and gymnastics. Around the age of 7, I got my first pony, so I think you know which option I chose. My pony's name was Trouble. He was a black and white paint pony, and he taught me a lot. But I'm going to tell you the story of one lesson. I started off this riding lesson on Trouble, and things were going pretty smoothly. We got warmed up, we were trotting around the arena, and then Trouble decided to throw a curveball at me. He halted abruptly and threw his head down, and little me ended up in the sand. Now that's not anything to be proud of, and I was definitely embarrassed. My trainer walked over to me, brushed the sand off, and put me back on Trouble's back. I continued on with my lesson, but not more than 15 minutes later, I ended up in the sand again. Trouble had pretty much done the same thing. He stopped, threw his head, and put little me into the sand. I did not appreciate it. I was even more embarrassed, and honestly, I was very angry. How could this lesson get any worse? I fell off twice within maybe 30 minutes. This has to be the worst day ever. I have to be the worst rider ever. My trainer kind of chuckled, put me back on, and reassured me that I had to continue, that this was not the worst thing ever. Many people had fallen off twice in one lesson. I'm not the only one. I wasn't quite sure that I could believe what she was telling me, but I continued on with my lesson anyways. I bet you can't guess what happened next. That's right. I'd say about 15 minutes later, I was in the sand for the 3rd time. Now this time, I tried to fight through it. I held on the entire way through. In fact, I ended up standing on the ground beside my pony, still holding onto my reins. I never let go, and I didn't really fall, it just kind of landed on my feet. My trainer commended me for that. She's like, "You do realize you just improved. You didn't fall entirely. You tried to stay on. You held yourself. I was just still embarrassed, angry, and I was done with my lesson. I did not want to get back on. My trainer gave me a pep talk and put me back on, reassuring me that I had to finish this lesson. In fact, the lesson actually ended well. I brushed trouble down at the end of the day, and I gave him a treat. What I hadn't realized is that I just learned my first lesson. That sometimes it gets worse before it gets better. But even through those hard times, it will get better. Now, throughout all of these funny horse riding fails and falls, I realized that in the beginning, if I would have chosen gymnastics over horse riding, I might not have found my love for horses, which led into a love for livestock. And whenever I got to high school, I might not have found agricultural education and the FFA. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a meaning and a reason for everything. So don't forget that when you go through your life, that sometimes it gets a little bit worse before it can get better, but there is a reason behind all of it. Thank you all very much, and I hope that you all continue to make your mark wherever you go.